Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
And I'm really, really sad that I brought other girls my age and even younger into a world that...
When Ghislaine Maxwell, the one-time madam of billionaire pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, was last year convicted of sex crimes against underage girls, her victims hoped a jail cell would silence her. Turns out they were wrong. As well as appealing her 20-year sentence, Maxwell has now begun a concerted campaign.
And this is why this stuff has to be passed line by line by line. It is riven with clues about the Epstein case.
She described dancing with you and you profusely sweating, and that she went on to have a bath, possibly.
There's a slight problem with the sweating.
Imagine spending years building the perfect royal image, graceful, elegant, untouchable, only for one woman wearing a prison jumpsuit to tear it apart with one sentence. I've seen her before she was Meghan, not on Suits, not in Hollywood, somewhere much darker. And that woman isn't a gossip blogger. It isn't a random YouTuber. It's Ghislaine Maxwell. Yes, the same Ghislaine at the center of the Jeffrey Epstein case. The woman who knew princes, presidents, and powerful insiders. And now she's suddenly talking about Meghan Markle. Why now? What did she see? And why is Meghan, the queen of carefully crafted statements, silent? Because whatever's in that mysterious CV Maxwell mentioned, it is either a bold lie or a time bomb. So here's the real question. What if Meghan didn't just marry into royal secrets, she brought her own?
Deeply frustrating to sit there and sort of see names of famous wealthy people. Yes, they were on planes, they knew Jeffrey Epstein, but you kept wondering, well, what else did they know?
Multimillionaire, hedge fund manager, businessman with famous, powerful friends, and also convicted sex offender. Just weeks ago, court documents pertaining to a sex trafficking case were unsealed by a New York court.
Meghan portrays herself as the perfect blend of Hollywood glamour and royal grace. Charity speeches, children's hospitals, inspiring quotes printed on teacups. A brand so polished, it practically sparkles. But behind that curated image, there are missing years, confusing timelines, and now, allegations of connections that don't quite fit the fairy tale. Ghislaine Maxwell claims she knew Meghan from a certain social circle, one that had nothing to do with film studios or royal palaces. And here's the part that raised eyebrows. Meghan, who claps back at bloggers and tabloids, has said absolutely nothing. No denial, no legal statement, not one carefully scripted podcast monologue. Silence. And in royal and Hollywood language, silence isn't weakness, it's strategy.
I see in you the present and the future. And I reiterate that point because oftentimes we speak to young adults about the years ahead, about what you'll do, what you'll have to adopt to fix from previous generations.
Here's where it gets strange. Ghislaine Maxwell mentions Meghan in prison interviews, casually, comfortably, like someone she had known long before Netflix deals and royal titles. Not as Duchess Meghan, not as Hollywood Meghan, just Meghan. Then came the document. Not a casting resume, not a modeling portfolio. Something called a personal network placement record. That's not entertainment, that's logistics. And then a connection no one expected. Sources suggest Meghan may have crossed paths with circles linked to Prince Andrew's world years before Harry. Not romantically, not politically, but socially. And who connected that world? Ghislaine Maxwell. But wait, it gets even more uncomfortable. A photo was mentioned, never published, not confirmed, but whispered about. Meghan wasn't smiling in the celebrity corner. She was in the other corner, the quiet, powerful, the kind of people nobody ever Googles. And finally, the loudest silence of all. Meghan Markle responds to everything. Podcasts, documentaries, lawsuits, but this time, nothing. And in her world, silence is isn't weakness. Silence is strategy. But that wasn't the strangest part.
Andrew hosted the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, as well as Ghislaine Maxwell and Harvey Weinstein.
Her attorneys have just sent a letter to the House Oversight Chair, James Comer, saying initially they were just going to invoke her Fifth Amendment rights, but they say now that they are willing to cooperate if, and this is a huge if, some big demands are met.
TikTok detectives have already set up the case files. One viral meme, split screen. Meghan on one side, Ghislaine on the other. Caption: when your LinkedIn asks for endorsements. Twitter went feral. Why does her past look like it's under royal protection? Not saying she's guilty, but the silence is loud. Sis released 6 episodes for Spotify drama, but can't address this? YouTube gossip channels, they're calling it the Maxwell Markle mystery. Netflix hasn't announced a documentary, but Twitter has. Would you believe her if that photo ever leaked? Comment below.
As I was building this, I'd always loved the podcast, How I Built This. And I thought, could we do something that feels a little bit like the tenor of how I'm building this?
The palace? Dead. Silent. Hollywood? Moving cautiously. PR teams are juggling 3 nightmares. Meghan's brand, Ghislaine's claims, the ghost of Prince Andrew's scandal, still simmering. One agency reportedly called it a reputation jenga tower. Pull one wrong piece, everything collapses. Because Meghan didn't just marry a prince. She married into an institution built on secrecy. But here's the twist. This time, the threat might not be the palace. It might be her past. Was Meghan just caught in a rumor? Or is there something she can't deny without confessing?
Blame game, much of it directed at Meghan, is fierce. It hasn't yet progressed to off with her head, but it's still a major headache.
Zoom out. This isn't a story about one duchess. It's about how reputations are manufactured. Jeffrey Epstein reinvented himself. Prince Andrew tried to. Ghislaine Maxwell faked hers. Now Meghan Markle, Hollywood's most polished brand, may be facing her own reconstruction. Because if she could rewrite this much of her history, what else was edited? Dates? Associations? Connections? If they can hide this, what else did they rewrite?
Meghan, look at the expression on her face. She seems kind of pleased, really, as if maybe she's got what she wanted.
Satisfy Epstein's insatiable appetite. And Kate testified that she never recruited any other girls for Maxwell and Epstein.
Maybe Meghan tells her side someday. Maybe Ghislaine drops more names. Or maybe the real receipt is still in someone's vault. But until then, was this just a prison stunt? Or did Meghan Markle's past just knock on her palace door? If you love your scandals served cold, subscribe, because this story just opened its first file.